heard the great jokes, right? That was.
Oh, sure. Yeah. They definitely heard what we were talking about because,
It's a
wow,
doozy.
it was so good. I couldn't even say it again because it's just like, it's just.
I think it would hurt my sides to laugh that much if I had to tell or hear it again.
Yeah, I mean, I would die. I mean, physically, I couldn't take
Well,
that.
more metaphorically, I'm sure.
No, I would actually physically die.
Oh
Because
wow.
my sides are sore as it is from laughing. So,
Ah.
yeah.
Well, then we're not telling the joke again. Sorry, even if you asked, I'm not going to. I don't want to kill Stuart.
No, we can't. Well, you might want to, but
I didn't want to. Don't make me sound terrible. I just said I don't want to. God darn it.
his life insurance that he took out on me hasn't come through yet, so hasn't been approved.
That's true. That is.
You're working in cahoots with Sylvia. I know how it works.
Actually, Cassie, it goes down the line. See, first we kill you, and then Sylvia kill. It's just It's a whole convoluted plan.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I see how it is. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, it makes sense.
Where I stand.
It makes sense. That's the thing. Just makes all sense. Oh, is it fixed? Hey, I might have fixed the thing, Stuart. Oh, for God's sake. Oh.
I could take that as a no or yes.
Yeah.
Was it a relief?
I think it did. Yeah, I think it did fix it. Oh, that was like 15 minutes of non-working by undoing it and redoing it in a totally different way.
There you go.
Speaking of, we're into TNG. Back again, Star Trek. Stuart, my goodness.
Well, this isn't our first one back, but yes, we are. So
we're back, baby.
Yes, episode 19, season 4. This is the Nth Degree, guys. Welcome to the live review and discussion. Glad you could make it. 23 of you here, 25 likes. It's a pretty good ratio. If you haven't hit like yet, hit the like button, though. Just up that, just a tad. And we also have 2 great super chats, both from Ozzy. One is $10. Wow. All hail the Superior Commander and Super Captain Foley. Fleet Admiral Skeleton Hands, okie dokie. And another $5 one. Who's going to fix the holodeck program? Mad Murdoch from the A-Team. Fleet Admiral Skeleton Hands, okie dokie. Absolutely, Ozzy. Thank you so much, Ozzy. Very much appreciated. Cade MacArthur says, is this the Mark Twain episode? It is not. It is not. That is, in fact, Einstein in the thumbnail, not Mark Twain.
I don't know if I like that one or not. I can't say anything about it specifically. Do you like that one?
Is it the one? It's the Times Arrow one.
Oh, then no. Okay, good. No, I don't.
I like Times Arrow.
I know you do.
Welcome back, guys. Like I said, hit that like button if you are able to, and I think it's probably time to share the video around.
Oh, I can do that, but I hope.
Could you do that?
Yeah, but I hope you're gonna join in for these because we want to do more TNG. We want to do some cool stuff, and who doesn't like TNG?
Sure, somebody somewhere doesn't.
Actually, you know what? I did read a comment yesterday saying, "Yeah, I gave up on TNG in season 2. I couldn't get into it." But they love Discovery season 3.
Are you serious? Must be a millennial. No offense to millennials.
Okay. See you in a minute then. Good luck.
All right. Good. Thanks. Yeah. So, guys, as you see, super chats are a great way to support the channel. Ozzy not only super chats during the lives, but he also supports the channel because he hit that join button on the channel right beside the subscribe button. That's a great way to join the channel and to help us out on a monthly basis. Another way to do that is to go over to Patreon/Trekyards, and you can donate via that way as well, again, monthly. But the super chats are great because they get your comment read, your question answered. We kind of have to read them on air, and you get noticed in the chat. So if you're able to, please consider doing so. I would we would both really appreciate it, as it helps us out. Also, check out the links down below. There's links to Eagle Moss. There's the Teespring store. We can get a lot of cool Trekyards merchandise if you're able to. Please consider doing that as well. And help us out any way you can. Just hitting that like button is a great way as well, and we're showing your support that way. Even sharing the videos around. So there's lots of great ways to help us out. Um, and yeah, hopefully we have a good discussion today. This is actually a really interesting episode. Not that there's really too much to talk about with this one when you break it down. It's kind of pretty cut and paste, cut and dry. Did you really Squadron Course? Because that's funny if that's the case. He's like, who the hell is Trekyards? What is with you, you nerds? Is that what he said? Or she? Could be a she. Could be a she boss. That sounded really bad too. I don't mean she. Anyway, I'll shut up now because just digging myself a hole. And yeah. So Samuel's taking a longer time than normal to share today, which is fine. I got to see if there's going to be any moderators in here because there's no moderators in here right now. Anyone willing to join us for the live? Hello. All right. Well, there we go. So, anyway, guys, welcome back. I'm sure Samuel will be excited that we've hit 41 likes with 45 people here, 47 people now. Thank you so much, guys. Like I said, hit that like button if you haven't been able to. And I'm just rambling because he's taking way longer than usual to share today. And I don't want to say too much without him here. So how it is. Listen, Jericho, I'll moderate for you. Hit like. Well, it's not quite the same thing, but.
I tried making a nice post and Facebook deleted it, so...
Damn, Facebook.
So then I had to make a really shitty one, so apologies, guys, but I finished it, went to copy the link, went back to Facebook, said, error had occurred, and it's like, oh, thanks. Great. Guess I gotta write it again then. Thanks. So
right.
Now it's a really generic one, sorry about that.
Yeah. That's okay. It's not for us anyway. It's for the people out there that haven't joined yet. So, Squadron Course though, $2. Told the boss no meetings at 4 because Trekyards is on.
Power play.
I want to know if that's a true story though. Just saying.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, guys. And like I said, if you can help out by asking a question, a comment, any faction about this episode, throw it in the chat, super chat, support as you can. We really appreciate that. So,
yeah. So, Stuart, what do you think of season 4, episode 19? And do you have any previous baggage with it, etc.?
I wouldn't say baggage. I mean, it's just one that it's one that I remember because it's kind of got a cool premise. And it's funny it was never explored more, or mentioned again. Because at the end it's like, hey, we got a whole bunch of information. We spent over 10 days with these people, and I'll take our scholars decades to sort out all the information. It's like, wow, that sounds like some cool stuff going on there. So we will get some future reference to that. Probably not.
It's fine. It'll appear in the episode where the bugs from season 1 find the information from this episode, and then they help answer why Narek's gone in Picard. All the plot threads will be closed up all in one episode.
Ooh, Richard Trussell. I missed my wife's pregnancy for this. I know my priorities. You missed her whole pregnancy, all 9 months? Or is she giving birth right now and you're out in the waiting room saying, no, I'm watching Trekyards instead? Because I don't think we're that special.
As long as you didn't miss the conception for Trekyards.
Well, you could have been watching Trekyards at the time of conception.
Nope.
But...
No.
Not cool. Okay. Squadron Course, $2. It's true. My boss is cool like that. Well, you got a great boss. Tell him or her that they are awesome and we love them.
But this is a good episode to take a step back from your annoying workday.
It's true.
And break down. Because we do see things that you may not. Because we are forced to.
Yeah. And Olivia Julius, that's in $2. Sorry I'm not there. Tell Puggy I say hi for me. Well, she's not down here, and how are you messaging if you're not here? I think there's shady shit going on.
I mean, it was here in some way.
Anyway, yeah, so this is one that I always remember. It's got a cool premise, plus Barclay's in it. and I think this is the second episode with Barclay.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's one that, if again, it's one of those ones in the listing of TNG episodes that you can kind of remember and you enjoy watching. This is one that I would list for sure. So went into it with that kind of vibe, and yeah, there's actually a lot less meat on the bones of this one than I thought there was. It's kind of straightforward and not a whole lot to talk about, really. I thought there was more going on the sides and stuff in this episode, and there just isn't. It's very there. It's very linear. So, but yeah, it's one I really enjoy, and I really enjoyed it this watch through as well. So that's my history.
Yeah, I mean, now we're getting to the episodes that I think my family must have enjoyed more. That I therefore have, I think this is definitely in a higher tier of TNG, so therefore it's more of a one you might choose to watch. You know what I mean? It's just the overall quality of it. But I didn't remember. I only remember the end, really, the payoff, because the payoff is so like, oh yeah, okay, how he got there. Like as soon as you see Argus, boom, everything goes back in. I even knew it was Argus. Like, oh yeah, and he says, oh yeah, I got it. But it doesn't mean you're gonna remember it. I definitely forgot they were in a shuttle, etc. So that that's fine. It's fine though. The payoff, as opposed to some of the like we always do about Discovery, if the payoff's not good, the setup doesn't work. This one, the setup's so good, the payoff's so good, the setup is like, okay, oh sure, okay. But also it's remarkable that this one really is just the Barclay episode, but to the nth degree. The thing is, I was gonna say that anyway, and then I saw the title. I was like, I'm definitely gonna say it now. But it is because I mean, obviously at the time, I assume this is after 18, but not long after 18. Like, household name, just not actively 18 would be my assumption of when it was made. So he's like a big get at the time, I'm sure, and it feels like they really respected him as being a big get. He's definitely the guy we're getting, and they're letting him do everything. I kind of like Whoopi. Whoopi comes in as like oh yeah, you're here for 3 scenes. Whereas this is like yeah, we got the guest, we're going to use the guest. That does, however, change the paradigm of the show drastically. Luckily, he feels so integrated that he doesn't stand out as being awkward. It's just like, oh yeah, it's the one, you just never see him, he's always busy. But in this episode, you get Picard and Worf completely sidelined. They only need to serve a functional role, even to the point of at the end, Picard is so passive, he has literally has no ideas. They're all going to die in 45 seconds. He has no ideas how to survive. So, I mean, ostensibly not there, right? Data is there in the littlest degree, but is also not important. Riker then is a bit more important, but it's really Troy, Beverly, Barclay, and Geordi. But that's the thing, you want those episodes because Troy never gets anything, and she has a lot this week, and she has great in it. So it's kind of you've got to sideline the ones that everyone likes to give everyone else time, but it is a lower deck episode, and it does benefit. I just kind of wish almost Dwight didn't get as much to give everyone else a bit more, but obviously he's also the point of it. So it's an interesting balance one. Yeah,
one thing that I noticed on this watch through, this one really makes Geordi look bad. Makes Geordi look like a whiny little bitch.
Really?
That's kind
compared to
jealous.
Last time? Really? I didn't get that.
Compared to last time when he was the not his friend?
Yeah, but he was being a dick to him. Like,
there's quite a few. There's a few incidents in here where it's like he just comes off as being like jealous that Barclay's got this smarts now, and it's probably about 4 times that it comes off like that, and he just seems like a little bit of a whiny little bitch.
I didn't get that. I'll be honest.
I didn't get it most times either, and this time I just really noticed it, and it's like, ooh, this one is not flattering to Geordi at all, in my opinion. It kind of ruins his character a little bit. He's kind of an asshole.
Wow. Shit. Okay. Mic drop. I mean, hey, tell me those moments when we get to them, and let's talk about them for sure. What I think makes this episode extra special, obviously, is the end, but the fact that they didn't, that they were very cognizant of and didn't make Barclay ever menacing, even to the absolute last minute to be in the computer, he still has that twinkle in the voice of being, oh, don't worry guys, it's for you guys. Even referencing Hal from 2001, pretty much. They never cross that line, and so you never quite go into that darkness that it could be. So I appreciate that, because there is no villain, there is no antagonist. There's just evolution and then thing. Like I said, it's very understandable. There's no twist there except the last twist. But I like that. I like he wasn't made to be a villain in any way.
It's Star Trek done well. You don't need a big baddie. You need a scientific thing that just happens to kind of fit the bad guy mold kind of a little.
This is uber Star Trek. I mean, this is Star Trek down to a T. It's like, let's use everybody with varying degrees of success and how much. Let's use a lot of the ship sets. Let's have really good acting. Let's have a, this is definitely a very, very TNG episode. Just it's odd how little Picard has any sort of impact in anything in it.
Yeah. Jericho, Geordi is always a bitch. Just watch the Scotty episode. And TMA says, I agree. Geordi didn't like Barclay being smarter than him. And Hezra is like, I hear you, buddy. That's about something else. Eugene, though, 1,000 ruble. Thank you very much, Eugene. Good to see you. 10 out of 10. Ooh. I often watch this episode separately every year, just like Hollow Pursuits. A fun sci-fi concept and excellent acting by Dwight. Yes, Dwight is perfect in this role. He goes from one end of the spectrum right to the other end. Like, his acting chops really shine through for sure. And
not to pimp out Temporal Anomaly, but the insanity of one character isn't apparent until a certain point. It grows, and when you watch it, it evolves. So Dwight does change the performance in every other scene, basically. But it's both gradual, and that you do get more than one scene of each stage of him, but also he changes. Even at the end, he's not the same Barclay as the start, etc. So, very, very well done. And you imagine as an actor, although, we'll get there.
Olivia Julius, $5. I'm cleaning my trailer. My phone is on one side of the trailer, and Trekyards blasting out of 2 speakers. Hello, Olivia. Oh my God, that probably blew out everybody's speakers. Can you hear me? Did it lower my volume as it does whenever you do that?
It's funny because you're trying to target Olivia, but that's gonna affect everybody listening. Like, and I didn't anything. Yeah,
especially with headphones.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, headphone users.
Yeah.
Fleet Pass Swiftback, $2. Sorry, I'm late. Have a super chat for 53 likes. Hashtag make Fleet Buffet. No worry about being late. Thank you so much. Welcome.
I still need pre-phase.
Yeah. So, yeah, this one starts out with the whole Cyrano de Bergerac thing, and you can see that Barclay's just not a good actor. Forgets his line at one point, and kind of stumbles over some of the lines, and and then everybody applauds and bravo, and Data's kind of confused. He's like, "What's going on?" "Oh, just being polite, Data." It's like, "Oh, okay." But no, I mean, then the weird thing for this opening scene for me is like, Worf, I have an opening in my workshop. I'd like to fill any Dr. Crusher openings, but I don't know why she wanted Worf to be an actor.
I think the impetus is that they've all done this at some point. This is like an open, and therefore he's the one that got away. That he's there because he feels like he's forced to. And like, if Barclay, if one of the lower decks guys can do it, come on, Mr. Worf, you should do it. That's how I took that.
Yeah, maybe.
Although
that's true. Yeah.
Although slight compliment to the redress of 10 Forward. They've done it obviously a few times, but it never feels like 10 Forward, and it's the same walls. So credit to them.
Yes, this is like one of the little theaters where they'll have like a musical performance or something, but it's clearly the same doors. At least there's a lot of those rooms around the ship, so I mean it's fine. But yeah,
I really appreciate the acting here because this is a very stark contrast to last time we saw them, where everyone was so annoyed by Barclay that they couldn't help but express it, especially Riker. And so making a point of Riker being like, he's clapping and the way he says Data is polite, there isn't even a hint of because I have to. It's a case of, oh no, I want to. All of that I don't like the man is gone. He's now just like, he is a bad actor. That's not the point. He's trying. I appreciate the pureness of the performance. Because, to show us long hours since the days where they called him Broccoli by accident. They're past that. Yeah. He's a respected member. They just know he's not good at certain things. So I really appreciate that. So it's kind of weird that Data's kind of like, and he's quite, like, acting that. That said, he does these performances too. He's genuinely incredible. And everyone's like, well done, Data. It's like, give me more applause. I do better. Because he doesn't understand that he thinks merit should equal applause. But he does better. So I thought he got more jealousy at the start, which I thought was interesting. Data was more like, really? He got the applause for that? And I thought that was really interesting. I didn't think that would be the way they took that scene.
Alyssa Jericho and Fleet Paw both thought this was 10 forward. Well, it's the set, but it's obviously not 10 forward because they're sitting in like seats. There's no windows behind them, and they would have had to dismantle the bar.
Yeah, I doubt they removed the bar and all of the drinks and gave the staff a night off. Like, no, it's just 10 forward room redressed. It's fine.
Yeah, just another room on the ship. It's fine. Yeah. Mark Lawrence, $5. Hey everyone, back in the mix with TNG. I still think the planet at the end is where Voyager should have set a course to. Wasn't classified, so what the hell? Well, it's right in the middle of the Milky Way. If you look at the star charts, they're still quite a way. They're pretty much equal distance from the center of the nuggety goodness, the nuggety center of the universe or the galaxy.
It wouldn't have saved long.
No.
Let's just say that. So, you know, yeah, but I get that. And it's always fun to see a good actor playing a bad actor, but this obviously is a good actor playing a character who's also playing a bad actor, who's not playing a bad actor, who's trying to be a good actor, who is just bad.
And then later plays a really, really good actor.
Yes. Which you've now got to have that harsh contrast, and you've got to be even worse and even better to make this work better. So it's a really hard thing to do.
Absolutely. And I like the Deanna Troi scenes here because I like her dress, first of all. Also, it's part of his therapy, getting him out of the holodeck. And he says it's kind of like a holodeck because I'm pretending to be another person. And she's like, no, you're putting yourself out there. So it's part of his counseling, which I thought was great because it's tying into the other episode and it's exactly what she would be doing as a counselor. So well done.
Well, this is as close to a direct sequel as I think TNG gets, because you could watch them back to back and just have the title 1 year later. You know, it's apart from you think where's Wesley, and I like it as well because obviously he says about how long he's been doing this thing. But yeah, they're so far along in their counselling that she even says later on, "I'm your former counsellor." So it's kind of moved into this second or third or fourth layer of help where it's just like we can be people finally. Although she is, let's not say flirty, but I know like already there's a little bit of something. Like there's a little hint to the way she's giving it. She's quite intense. Also, she looks rather nice, which doesn't help. And him with a nose doesn't help either. Not that I'm making a phallic joke. That it's like the lovely juxtaposition of he doesn't look good at all, and she looks great. It's just funny. And I love the hair joke as well. He keeps getting hair in his face because he has short hair. That's a great guy.
Well, the funny thing too is at the end where he sits in the chair and like hits the sword off the table, and the sword stands up. It clearly wasn't meant to, because he takes a second, looks at it, and then knocks it back over again. Like that was one of those takes that it was supposed to roll off the table and hit the floor, and it rolled off and stood up against the table, and he just went with it, and they kept it, and it's pretty clear that that's what was meant to happen, but it's kind of funny.
It's just a great scene in general because it's not what you expect at all. It's definitely a weird use of 5 minutes for TNG, but it lets these people, but it gives you little nuggets, and it lets crush it. I was thinking like last week, all she ever does is doctory stuff for the most part. This is the most opposite from that. She's now acting teacher as well as ballet teacher as well. They give her lots of odd jobs. And then we get Argus Array. Got to give them a call out. They have a lot of miniature work and a lot of effects this week for an episode that wouldn't necessarily justify it. It's weird they saved the budget for this one because loads of miniature shots.
Well, we find out that it stopped transmitting its data 2 months ago, so they're there to see what the problem is. Essentially, that's what I said.
I guess you cut off then.
I didn't even say the Argus. All I said is it stopped transmitting its information 2 months ago. So anyway, I didn't say the name of the array, but that's why they're there to investigate. And the computers aren't functioning properly, and they don't quite know why. So, and then we see a probe.
Yes.
Which is neat. I like the scientificness of this episode. Like it's Star Trek. It's what Star Trek should be, and I think that's great. So
I also
something strange, something interesting, and
but it needs a good thought into it, and this one does have that. Luckily, I like also this is a station which is the edge of Federation space, which is which is they really are the only ship in range, etc., etc.
So they basically want to take a close look at the probe. So they Geordi and Barclay get into a shuttle and pull up right beside it.
Good effects, considering.
Yeah. Start doing some scans.
Although you can blatantly see the blue screen on the VAR. Like, they didn't do that good a job, although slightly cleaner here, but on the Blu-ray, with the colours more accurate, it's like, oh, okay. But the miniature works nice, and I like the sense of scale, and it's a good excuse to have another little set.
And interesting to see the little half spheres on the control clusters, which you don't usually see in TNG. They're usually smooth surfaces, but this shuttle's got those nice little displays or controls, which are kind of neat. Basically, they kind of talk about their friendship here a little bit, like, you know, thanks for bringing me along. And he's like, oh, you're a good member of the team. It's good to have you. You should be out doing this kind of thing. And then he gets basically hit with the light and collapses.
I like the simplicity of Geordi's visor protects him. It's a nice simple rationale. Oh,
well, and even the scene where Geordi's like, this is why I'm in Starfleet. Like,
this is pod racing.
No, it's not.
No, it's true. Although it is a bit weird that they would send the chief engineer of a full starship with massively superior sensors in a shuttle that has massively inferior sensors with a lieutenant. Why is he in a shuttle? Like, surely the bigger ships have better sensors. Is it safe to get close, chief engineer? No? Okay. Clearly it wasn't safe anyway.
Well, when we come back from the opening credits sequence, we got a great shot of the Enterprise from behind. I love that shot. That's one of my favorites.
Really,
which I figured you'd have something to say about this shot because you're the CG guy.
No, it's great, and what's interesting about it is that you associate Enterprise D as being huge. It's one of those few shots where, as you pan, it's like, oh yeah, this is being presented as small. That's part of why it's such a fast camera motion, to show that, you know, it is actually quite small. Yeah, I think we're going to start to see more and more miniature shots as they are moving, you know, more away from the stock shots and more into these smaller miniatures, which allow them to do new angles, which we obviously need, and they benefit a lot. So, excellent.
Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $2. Love that shot of the Enterprise. Yes, sir. 80 people watching, which is great. 64 likes, also great, but I think we can hit 75 likes easily. So another 11 people hit the like button if you haven't. And yes, thank you guys so much. Geordi was transformed last week. Give the man a break. Yeah, good thing it wasn't Geordi this week too. But the probe starts coming towards the Enterprise as we transition down to sickbay where Barclay is, and basically they think the reason it knocked him out and not Geordi was because Geordi's visors filtered it out. Barclay's like, oh, you can get those results a lot quicker and modifying your scanner and stuff, and she's like, nah, it's okay. I think it's fine. It's a funny little scene there. So, and the look on Geordi's face here is like,
yeah, it's a good start, and it's I like how the stuff he starts to talk about are quite understandable. His revelations, people just don't think about doing them a certain way, and then it gets more and more like, what? Also, I'm also looking for like, how's his speech pattern different? The big one is he doesn't stutter from this point onwards.
Yeah.
It still has a similar speech pattern for a bit, but the stuttering is gone. So it's a nice progressive, and then at some point just totally swaps to confidence, and even changes his, you know, vocal tone. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So yeah, the probe's still coming towards them. They have no idea how it's moving because there's no distortions of any kind.
Yeah.
Which is neat. Unknown propulsion. Again, I like that. So they start backing away from it.
Lovely turning shot.
Well, they don't turn yet.
Okay.
They just back away at first, and it starts coming towards them. Matches their course and speed, and so.
Well, at the start, it's matching their speed of like quarter impulse, which is unimpressive. When they match the speed later, then it's quite impressive later on, but at that point, not so much.
Yeah, exactly. Once they get to 1/2 impulse, that's when they spin it around, start going. So, and that shot's used a few times.
Yeah.
That turnaround shot.
Although, why do they go to warp 2 of all warps?
It's that gradual progression. Why go as fast as you need to if you don't have to? I don't know. That's a good question.
And the way they say it makes it sound as if they're already at warp 1. Because surely it'd be news that it can go to warp. But they play it off like, it can go to warp 2. It's like, well, but it's going to warp at all. Think about that for a second. Jesus. I don't know. But I mean, you don't want any more wasted time on that. I'm not as if I'm complaining per se. Just, it'd be nice if they jumped warp and like, sir, it's still following. Okay, warp 7, warp 8. Maybe give us that scene for a couple of seconds would be fun.
Yeah. Olivia Julius, $5. Attention, the Jeffries Tube monster got hit by a beam of light. She is now reciting Shakespeare.
Oh, goodness.
To eat a treat, to not eat a treat. That is the question. Damn, Olivia. You're clever super chats. Anyway, they can't shoot photons at it because it's too close. It would cause damage, which I like because in Starfleet battles, the game, if you're too close, you get feedback damage from photon torpedo hits, which is neat.
Although I find it slightly odd though because it said it will be disabled. It was like you can fix that. Yeah. Like they explicitly say it's just damage. It's like but you're at risk of being just like you know what I mean. That wasn't
everyone in 10 forward will be killed. It's okay.
Stuart, the nursery's been destroyed. How did it destroy the nursery?
Wait a minute, they've turned around at this point, so the damage will all be at the back. So
I don't know. I just felt like that. I was waiting for a bigger notion. Although it's kind of strange. The threat is just it's following them. I guess they do say it's building up the energy to do another burst thing, but they never quite make it clear. They say,
it's not really clear. But they jump right to options number 1. Well, we can't use photon torpedoes. The explosion could cripple us. Worf's like, sir, I recommend phasers. Well, no shit. That'd be the first recommendation. And this is one time where Worf doesn't get shot down.
Yes, it's noteworthy.
Just proceed, and Worf's like, oh.
Oh, I've never used the bombs before. Shit. Nope.
They usually get shot down. They're not even charged yet. I haven't been. I thought you'd say no.
They're on standby for 6 months. They're rusty.
But yeah, no effect once they hit. So.
Although, boy, weren't you hoping to see a phaser beam exterior from the pylons? Because that's where they're being fired from. Because they're firing from the aft. Would have been lovely.
Would have been. But they're still in danger because the probe's field intensity is still increasing. So they increase phaser power, and so they're shunting all extra plasma to the phaser emitters, and making them as hot as they can. They fire again, still doesn't have any effect. So that's when they say warp 2, and we didn't know they were in warp 1 at this point because last order was half impulse. But yeah, you're right. Anyway, warp 2, it's still sticking with them,
which is really impressive. I wish they'd said something.
Surprises Riker. Yeah, warp 2. Yes, warp 2.
When do you get? When why not go to warp 9? At least make the distance and then shoot torpedoes. Like you could make that distance really quickly. Like they missed a slight trick.
Yes, not a band account. $2. Why isn't sickbay designed to treat dolphins? Because that's down in the cetacean ops deck. There's probably a medical bay in the tank with like a orca as doctor, or a little doctor's hat. I don't know.
I mean, let's just be fair for a second. I mean, is it easier for a human to scan a dolphin or a dolphin doctor to scan a dolphin?
That's a good question.
I'm just saying, if they're already in the water, so there's probably a doctor dolphin that can double as a medic.
Okay. Anyway, so they're. Worf says we're dropping to impulse power.
Yes.
And warp power has been rediverted, transferred to the shield grid. By whom? And Geordi tries to fix it, and Barclay comes over and like over his shoulder, like blocks him out. And then he like goes right over his head to Picard, and it's like we can fire the phasers now, or we can fire photon torpedoes because the shields are at maximum. They're up 300%.
Yeah, Geordi does have to back him up on it though, because I like Picard's face. Like, I mean, I believe you, but also what? I appreciate.
George?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was good.
But it is odd, and this is the thing I was mentioning, how they say shields will be overloaded in 40 seconds. He's like, Picard says, options? Oh, so you have no ideas. You're the captain, and you're going to die in less than a minute.
Yeah.
Like, he's so, like, I get they should all be calm. That's great. But he just sat there like, oh, if no one's got any ideas, then I guess we're dead. Goodbye, everyone. So, you know what I mean? It's so... Oh, there's something missing there. Like, it needed Riker at the back pressing buttons or someone doing something active, because he's not a great captain this week. He's just a captain.
Yeah. Squadron course, $2. Does Cetacean Ops Sickbay also have a Hollowfish Doctor? I mean, probably. Why not?
When you get to the EDH. Which actually makes sense. Oh, EDDH, Emergency Dolphin Doctor Hologram.
Yeah. Eric the Bat says, are some of the cetaceans in Cetacean Ops Zindi? That'd be cool. Zindi Aquatics.
Yeah, that'd be a
that would actually be neat. That'd be neat.
Well, yes.
So they fire at it, it explodes, it goes kablooey.
Also, did you like Worf's hesitations? Like,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get killed, but okay, because he doesn't know about this. Like, he doesn't know. He's not confident with their shields. But yeah.
Not a band account. Can we get Trekyards Cetacean Ops merch? Hey, that opens up some possibilities for sure.
Dolphin. EDHMD, a shirt.
Yes. But the look on Barclay's face, like, ooh, yes, I did it, and then turns around, oh, sorry.
Did I overstep?
This is the first instance. This is the first instance of Geordi acting like an asshole, because he turned around like, don't mention it. Like, he just saved the ship and did something really great. You should be patting him on the back, not being a dick. Yeah. And in this situation, with the way he did over his shoulder, and then he also override him to talk to the captain, I kind of get it. So this one's not too bad, but this is the start of the "fuck you, Barclay" attitude in this episode.
So I won't concede on this one, but we'll see about the other ones. Purely because, yeah, not only everything you said, but the fact is he went over his head to the captain, and not just that, but he had an idea, didn't even ask him. Geordi was completely...
There's no time.
Well, no, they often do talk about stuff. How often do you find data on the bridges doing stuff? No, they tend to give the orders and say stuff. 40 seconds can be 5 minutes if you need it. And so he's not, like, mean, he's just like, I think he's shocked rather than mean. But, you know, I just think he's more really confused because he barely even understands how he did it. So it's more like everything. It's just a combination of shock and also you should have asked me, and also you betrayed my trust going to him without me. Because so I don't.
And the chain of command, and yeah, I get it, but it just seemed overly harsh this time.
But Barclay was being overly, like, I know he saved the day, but no one ever does that. You don't do that. It never actually happens. Weirdly enough, that sort of take the reign.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one I know what you mean, but I think this one's on the side of it's.
No, I agree.
So we'll see about the next one.
Just wanted me to point them all out, so I'm just getting.
Yes, no, good. Please do. Love the next 5-second scene though.
Oh, the pan up of the Argus array and the Enterprise in the distance.
Oh, the guys made me smile because you never see this sort of scene.
Oh yeah, everybody's trying to figure out how you did it. Well, it just occurred to me, if I set up a frequency harmonic between the deflector and the shield grid using the warp field generator as a power flow, and that, of course, naturally created an application of the inherent energy. I just love Riker because, oh, yeah, I can see that. It's funny because Red Letter Media always makes the point of saying that Riker is the analog for the audience. Like, he says the stupid shit. Like, how does that work or whatever. So it's perfect.
Although, and obviously on that, Riker's speciality is a command speciality. He ain't no scientist. He ain't no... Think of, what did he go to the academy for? Like, I don't... Like, you know what I mean? I think he was maybe a pilot, but he wasn't an engineer. He wasn't tactical. He was always in command. So he's not there to be Mr. Science. He's there to be the guy that is in charge of stuff. So you're asking a town scientist to tell you science stuff, and he's not actually that knowledgeable about stuff. So it makes sense. But I just love the evolving acting of Frakes here. Because again, he's being respectful and he's trying to... And there's a point you can see on his face where he goes from being, yeah, huh? Wait, and then obviously he's just lost.
Well, glazed over, yeah. I get that sometimes when you're talking.
Oh, all the time I'm talking.
Like, a lot of times I'm invested and then it's like...
Yeah. No, I just think this is a beautiful little moment.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Even the lead into the next scene where they walk into the briefing room and Riker's got a huge smile on his face.
Because the fact is they're not making fun of him. They're enjoying his uniqueness. That's the big distinction here, and I really it does help the episode a lot. Obviously, you need the first one to make sense, but yeah, it's great. It's very nice to see.
Yeah. So we find out there's 18 different arrays on the thing that they need to shut them all down to be able to repair them. 18 sectors, and Barclay's like, I disagree. It's not right. And everybody's like,
That's a weird way to phrase it as well.
Yeah,
which is great. That's why it is there.
Oh, and also if the array does explode, you don't want to be anywhere near it because it would be quite an explosion. So
yeah, and I think they also say how long it take to repair. He's like 4 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks at least.
Which is interesting because Picard, if you watch his acting, he doesn't flinch. He's like, okay, got to be done. Which means they're stuck at the Federation space for 2 to 3 weeks. But they know the only ship in range, and they won't be on the ship. But they can even get here before we're finished. So I like that.
It's a milk run. We're out here. We got 2 weeks of doing nothing because they're going to do it. Picard's already mind working out his holodeck schedule.
No, that's true.
Like Dixon Hill this day, horse riding the next day. Yeah, okay, I can stay here for 2-3 weeks. It's fine.
I like that. Yeah, but I just like the fact that even though he's the flagship, this is a very, very mundane task. But he is not even flinching. This is the job. So I actually that moment, as few as there are for Picard this week, I like that. That's why he gave that performance.
Yeah. So Barclay says they can repair them all at once.
Yes.
But because it still has its core memory intact for the computer systems, and Data's like, that approach would require more than our original plan. Like, probably like 6 weeks or whatever. 6 to 7 weeks, they say. And he's like, I got it ready in 2 days. We'll start working on it tomorrow.
and Riker's like, what?
What? Yeah. And you think Data would be like, how do you plan it? There's no lines from Data here, which kind of bugs me a little bit.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about this episode. Data, but the obvious one to talk to him throughout the whole episode as they evolve to, like, at some point it goes beyond Data. That, I think, was a massive missed opportunity. You are absolutely right. And this scene in particular, like, oh, come on. And
this is the second Geordi scene where, right there, he's like, sure, Reg.
No, that one I'll buy.
The way he said it.
No, that one I'll buy, because this is, again, him being even more disrespectful, but also, like, really? That's not, like, this, I get it, because it's jealous, because that is an insanity. Like, the skill level is, like, how would you even? I'm the best engineer on the ship.
I almost buy this one, but the delivery is just so childish. It could have been like, all right, we'll see, but it's like, sure, Reg.
Well, no, it's like, help me tomorrow, but also, he's giving him orders, and he doesn't know how he's going to do it. I think Geordi's thinking, I mean, if you can do it, I don't think you can. So I do think he's being a sarcastic dick in the sense of, yeah, we'll do your plan because I'm going to be a good friend, but it's not going to work, is it?
Yeah, but just the delivery here seems just kind of childish.
But I think that fits. I think that's absolutely appropriate in how they both are. So I agree with you, but I think it actually works really well here, especially given the absurdity. Because I was expecting a more medium slope into like crazy smart, but that's a really big jump, which I kind of wish they kind of went a bit slower on.
Yeah, I just wish there was more explanation here, technobabble wise. Because Picard and everybody in the room is like, oh, okay, 2 days.
Yeah.
Everyone else is saying Data, and our chief engineer is saying 6 weeks for your plan. So, 2 days, fine. No questions asked. Every other episode would be like, and how do you expect to accomplish this, Mr. Barclay? No, he just walks away, and Counselor Troy's like, I sense much confidence in him.
Yeah. When Data says 6 weeks, and this okay guy says 2 days. Let's not question it. No further questions, Your Honor.
That seems legit. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay, you know what would have been fine though if Picard had said, okay, we'll do both, split the teams, which is I think would have helped Geordi's reaction as well. He's like, we'll do your plan as well.
Yeah, even on some line like, okay, well, if you can do it in 2 days, cool. If not, we're going to go with the original plan of 3 weeks.
Yep.
Like something like that would have been fine. But
or if
he said that with his acting and his expression, his gesture. But I just wish there would have been a line. That's all.
100%. And it would have been really great actually if a few more scenes later we have him saying, Data, will you help Mr. Barclay? And Mr. Barclay's like, would love the help. And then you get a scene in the middle where Data actually, Barclay tells Data, would you please stop helping or slowing me down?
Yeah.
And he is. And Data's like, wouldn't that be a great payoff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like Data's doing, and actually, if I picture this right, Data's doing this on the console, and Barclay's like, dum, finished.
Well,
because he knows a cheat of doing it. Oh, that'd be so
well,
good.
later they even say like the computer can't do it fast enough.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd have Data down there, kind of be in the mid.
Well,
Yeah.
but that was a processing, not inputting of data. So
Well,
data.
I know, but anyway.
But in the middle, I think that would have Data's sorely missed as a slight context here.
Absolutely. And then we get the great acting, the scenes from Cyrano. But this is like his, theater acting. And again, so well done.
It is on that line of overacting, because obviously he's giving an impassioned speech.
That's why it's theater, though. That's why I said theatrical.
Yes. Yeah. But you can still appreciate the brilliant performance, even if it is a performance not being a character.
Yes.
Which is great. And
could have dialed it down like one notch to be more realistic, but it was that theater. Yeah.
It's also a speech, and I love the fact that Beverly is like, she literally can't say anything. Yeah. But it's played like, I am so invested in your eyes right now. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And clearly he just like, yeah, he was in a performance yesterday, and then now he's went to the next acting class, and he's like the best one there. And it's like, wow, okay. No, it's great.
Well, he goes right from the serious speech into like a, how'd I do? Like a smile on his face, and and she's like,
it's good.
It's improvement. It's an improvement.
Yeah. And it's just good for the actor, because this scene is not only him acting, but it's him acting as an incredibly talented actor. Do you remember how many takes it took to do this? Because you've actually got to be like top of your game, and that's the gag. You've got to be absolutely inspirational. Yeah, it's great.
Yep. Area 51 throws in $5.
Thank you.
Maybe Geordi is still testy because earlier in the day he struck out with that pretty engineering lady. Oh yeah, probably. Knowing Geordi, yes. And like last week, he was a weird creature.
That's true.
IS,
that is actually true. Yeah, bit testy from that.
ISFJ 1009, $5.
Thank you.
It was here that it just showed how technologically advanced they really weren't, or compared to others in the galaxy. See, there's the thing. I forget where this is in Star Trek, but closer to the center of the galaxy, the civilizations are more advanced because that was created first, and as it moves out, they get less so. That's why a lot of the people in the Delta Quadrant, where Voyager was, because it was kind of it was further away than. It's because that's why they're some less technologically advanced. I forget where that was. It's something about the preservers and whatever, but I remember reading that at some point. So yes, closer to the center of the galaxy, there's more advanced civilizations.
But also, we've seen the Voth, we've seen the Iconians. I mean, their tech is nothing particularly special, and clearly they invested all their tech into something clever. I mean, I didn't take them as being they're one of many, etc., etc. But no, it's fun. Yeah. It's a good scene for sure. Then you've got the tea being poured. And I always find it funny. There's a cup and then a holder for the cup.
Yeah.
And you often see them walking with their fingers in the holders of the cup. It's
like a saucer and
it is space saucer.
Cup and a saucer. Yeah.
I just never feel the need to have a saucer.
So you don't get coffee or tea on your table. It's on the saucer. It's fine.
But also, I never feel
fancy.
I also never feel the need to have a tea or coffee, which doesn't help my lack of need for a saucer either.
Yeah, and coffee cups never have those. Just teacups. Teacups are for dainty, uppity. I'll shut up now. Just kidding. I drink tea and coffee. Coffee more than tea. Nobody cares. Moving on. Yeah, so Counselor Troy's like, I was really impressed with that scene you just did with and that was an acting class. That wasn't a performance.
No,
this should be pointed out. There were people behind Beverly, but yeah.
Where's the acting class you wanted Worf to go to at some point?
It would have been funny to see him. sitting there with his arms crossed behind her.
Well, I can't top that, can I? Actually, you know what? Actually, it would have been more funny, but yeah, we should have had Worf. So you cut from the scene we just had into Worf standing up saying, "To be or not," and Barclay walks in and finishes this, like, gives the entire speech, and Worf's like, it's like, I still don't like you. That would have been fun. And Worf's like, nope, that was my one chance, Beverly. I'm done. I was upstaged.
Yep. Yeah, so she has a conversation here where you've changed, he's like, is that your professional opinion? She's like, no, just observation. He's like, yeah, I've found confidence in the last few days. I don't know, where it's been, but I've got a new sense, new purpose. And she's like, oh, I gotta go. And she's like, he says, would you walk with me? We'll go to the Arboretum. And she's like, as your former counselor, I don't think that would be appropriate. But yeah. Anyway, he does a good, charming, beautiful woman thing on her, and it's just so well done. And I think she's actually kind of shocked, more so than she expected to be when she went into the conversation. And then I love how he stands up, like, as she sits, he stands, and as she leaves, he stands, and then sits down again. Like,
attention to detail.
Yeah, like, so well done.
Like, he respects her that much to do something oddly extra. I mean, he did.
It's polite, it's manners, with the ladies, but
because the problem with this, and the problem with Barclay as a character, in the sense of this episode, is that last time he was clearly having sex with both Troy and Beverly in the holodeck, or at least weird things, like he was kinkifying them. And so in the first scene where he's with Beverly, there's that slight, like, he's uncomfortable, you can tell, because he's reacting to the real her. She's like, I love you, and he's like, oh, because he's like thinking about the past. And this scene, now the opposite, but you as the audience are like, I mean, yeah, he obviously had a thing for her in some generic sense of she's a woman, etc. So there's this lovely little extra depth of okay.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, what do you think about, because Marina gets a lot this episode, which is great. How do you think she plays this scene going into it? Like, where do you think she is? Because she plays it interestingly.
She goes in thinking she has the upper hand, kind of trying to find out why he's got this confidence, and she kind of gets shaken a little bit at the end, where he's so suave that it impresses even her and catches her off guard. So when she's walking away, it's like she did not expect that. She's been dealing with him for how many weeks or months now as a counselor?
It'll be 2 years if he's in last season.
Yeah. She just didn't expect that, and I think she went in rock solid and came out kind of like, I'm very unsure of how that, what happened.
Do you think she had any slightly flirt eyes? Because I kind of think she may have started giving off signals by the end, like gentle.
A little bit.
Yeah. A little bit.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
And also, one thing I wish they'd done here, and they sort of said it, and you're right, you mentioned that he said in the last few days, but also the way he plays off the scene is, we've got a meeting tomorrow. That feels like when he said to Geordi, we've got a meeting tomorrow. So it feels like it's literally the next day, but it both is and isn't. I really wish this had been like a week later. They said, okay, we're done fixing number 7 to give us time to say, oh, he's been really useful. But it being the next day, it's like she would be like, we've changed in one day. Like, there'd be more concern, because you often see characters change radically, whereas she plays it like, you've got really, wow, the confidence the last week. So
I think he actually...
There's a slight disconnect.
His dialogue.
Please do. There's a slight disconnect there for me.
Yeah, because you're right, and I never considered that, but you're absolutely right, because I always thought he was talking about the meeting the next day.
That's how it plays.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here.
Because otherwise she should be concerned, not intrigued. If it's like... Because if you get a performance yesterday...
He says, his exact line, quote or line is, in the past few days, I found a confidence I never knew was there.
Which is important, but it doesn't quite land. I wish we had a follow-up.
If it had been a few days, then his initial thing of 2 days, I can have it ready. I guess ready is the key word there. He has the thing ready.
That's true.
So it's not, they're going to be fixed in 2 days. He has the thing ready.
But they're doing all at the same time, though, which means they'll be done at the same time. And it's not implied that his solution is the thing that destabilizes them. It's that he doesn't get there in time, they destabilize. So it's not his fault, it's just running out of time.
I think it was just maybe a cut scene or two, and just the script wasn't fixed or altered.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see something like that being a thing. So
it's really small stuff, but it just like again, she should be concerned, not impressed. If she, because in the context it's presented, yesterday he was a mumbling wreck. Today in the performance, he was a suave bastard of sexiness. It's like, well, that's not a day change for a normal person. And guess what? Weren't you hit by a anomaly? That's weird. Let's put two and two together. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Let's see. Did I read that one? Yes. All right. So yeah, it looks like the next morning then, and he's like, "Where's Barclay?" Well, I went by his quarters. He wasn't there. So it's like he's letting us down again, because the first we got introduced to him, he was always late for his meetings. He was always distracted and in the holodeck, and he asked, "Where is he?" Holodeck 3. And he's like, "Oh, it's like, oh shit, here we go again."
Yep.
Which I thought was great, nice and subtle. Like you kind of, if you didn't remember the other episode, and knew that he was late for meetings all the time because of his hollow addiction. So
yeah, I thought it was a beautiful parallel sequence.
Yep.
And even the way they play it is interesting. The extras, because it's as if he does still do this, but also it's his bloody plan. For God's sake, where is he? He's important. And if it has been several days, he's the one that's telling them what to do because no one understands how to do it. So it's like, this is his thing. Which is why I think if it is meant to be the next day, they would be even more annoyed. Because again, his genius idea, he would come at 7 a.m. for his idea, he's not even here. But yeah, it's just a great callback. And then what a one take camera move. That's great.
With some impressive dialogue to boot. Very technical.
Yeah.
Talking about what you suggest is 26 different realities as opposed to 10, which I don't want that. It was great. Bashing brains with Einstein in the holodeck. And then you get the disappointed. This is another hands on the hips. The kind of attitude with Barclay, and then the look back at the holodeck. I just again I get it here. He's his boss, fine, but the next scene's coming up in a second where he kind of gets a little childish.
Yeah, but I obviously thought it was very. Why didn't he have the door open? It's quite loud. Apart from that, yeah.
Well, he was busy. I think it was just he was engrossed in the conversation.
Yeah, but Einstein would have heard it. I'm just saying.
No, the computer knows to just ignore that kind of stuff because it's creating the program for him. He wants to talk to Einstein. Einstein's not supposed to be aware of this. I don't know.
Oh, I love the little note when he says basically bye to Einstein. Einstein's like, has a little offhand like vocal and disappears. It's just a lovely little detail.
So this whole walk and talk is kind of, if it walks a fine line between I'm your boss and I'm disappointed or pissed off at you, to kind of be him being childish. The whole that was out of my league and out of yours too. Barclay's like, well, had some thoughts, I had to get them out and whatever. Reg, ever since you had that run-in with Pro, something's different about you. And Reg is like, what? Because I'm beginning to behave like the rest of the crew with confidence. Arguing whatever with Albert Einstein. Reg, something's happened to you we can't ignore. He says, yes, I finally become the person who I always wanted to be. Do we have to ask why? The whole, yeah, I think we do. And just dismissive walk-off, I think is douchey. He shouldn't be saying that to Reg. He should be saying that to the Doctor, Riker, Picard. I think the way he addressed it to Barclay was kind of douchey. You should be happy for the guy that he's actually. Maybe it has nothing to do with the flashlight. Maybe it was just a coincidence. I don't know. I just think it's a douchey scene.
Okay, again, I see why you say that. I appreciate you bringing these up, but remember this is 7 a.m. Barclay's gone from being he's just gone on the job. Barclay went from being a decent engineer to solving every problem they've had for the last 4 days. Everything he's doing is above Geordi's head, and he's going above his own head in terms of orders, and you can tell he's already ordering the other crew members around a little bit. And it's obviously to do with the probe. Like Geordi knows there's something wrong here that isn't just smart. So Geordi's he's lived in the ship long enough. The whole scene is like, mate, you're not okay. You know you're not okay, but he can't say it directly as he'd like to. So it's not to me douchey so much as he knows there is something wrong here as on a sci-fi level, but I mean, it has to keep going. That's how I think he's approaching it.
Yeah, I know. I get that, but it's been nothing negative yet. It hasn't been, it's been helpful, if anything.
But it's still something wrong. Still something.
It bleeds into the next scene because we get the scene in sickbay where she's like, your brain activity is increased by 500%. Oh yeah, because
he forces him to to sickbay because he's like, Reg, this is not okay.
Yeah.
So
it's IQ somewhere between 1200 and 1450.
That was great. I like that one.
So both sides of the brain are basically working together in conjunction now. Everything has been increased: creativity, resourcefulness, inspiration, imagination, and you could. Great thing to say to Barclay, Lieutenant. You could very well be the most advanced human being who's ever lived.
Yeah.
And that's another scene where Geordi's like.
That I can give you because that's annoying.
Yeah. Just the look on his face is like, you douche.
Well, I mean, it's similar to if say Trekyards had a little CG company, right? And I had a guy I've known for a couple of years who's, and then one day he suddenly makes better stuff than me, and someone says to him, someone gives him a, I want him to go back. Yeah, so there's this younger guy, or he's not actually necessarily younger, but and then some next day he can do better work than me, and then he gets an award that day. It's like, I'd be like. And he's not rubbing my face, but he's not trying to keep me in the loop anymore. His loop is now different to my loop. But this one's fine. This one I think he's being... But I think, I wouldn't be happy. But just like with Reg isn't being too much, he also isn't being too much. It's just more visible as it's progressing. I always think... I think you're right in the sense, I think... Geordi was actually looking for the Doctor to find something wrong with him.
Yes.
And therefore a reason to have him be... taken down that peg into the medical observation side, was the fact that he's got a clean bill of health in a sense, rather just we understand why. He's like, okay.
I think Geordi's reactions don't mirror the attitude that Barclay has, because Barclay's not like nose in the air, like I'm better than you. He's just kind of like, okay, you're telling me information, Doc. Like, and so his reactions to it are way ramped up compared to what he's getting given by Barclay, and I think that's what makes him look like a douche.
But that's so on purpose, though. I love you pointed that out, because Barclay is coming at everything from his science brain. His emotional stuff is sort of there, but it's being subsumed, and he's also seeing everything just like he's got this baseline level of intensity, which is now raising up, but statically, whereas Geordi is the human in the situation. He's responding, he's ramping up his emotional side. He can't explain his sciencey, so he's going emotional each time. And Barclay, he's just saying so like neutral, but because Barclay should be more concerned, and that's why I think that I love that you pointed that out. But that works so well because Barclay is not concerned. Well, his friend's concerned.
But he's smart enough to know he shouldn't be concerned.
Which one?
Because if Barclay's smart enough to know he shouldn't be concerned, because he can, like later he says everything's so simple now, like the universe is an equation and it's so easy. So he's smart enough right now to realize that there's really nothing wrong with him, and that's detrimental. Like he knows what he's thinking. He's got no ill will. There's no bad thoughts. There's no whatever. So he's just kind of like, oh well. You should be concerned that you just got knocked over by a flash of light from an alien probe. But
I've got to assume, though, and I've always assumed this in this episode, that the probe, part of the probe, it says like rewrote his brain. The probe is on autopilot, getting him to this, like, he didn't accidentally discover the FTL drive. Hold on, guys. Yeah, Barclay didn't accidentally discover the FTL drive. He's going through a set of procedures to get him to the solar system. So I think Barclay he's not able to really... Like, he even says later, I know I did, I don't know why or how. So I don't think he's really... Yeah. He's running an autopilot script, so that's also why he's not concerned, because he's not actually Barclay right now. He's Barclay going through the motions. Does that make sense?
Barclay I know.
What do you think? Does that help you as well with the way he's acting?
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. But it doesn't take away the fact that it just seems like Geordi's just jealous at this point.
Which he
like,
is, I'm sure.
Oh,
Which he is, I'm sure.
I wanted to be super smart. Yeah.
I'm sure he is. You're super smart and you got bloody eyes. You got everything.
Excelsior Domain says, what Transformers issue is on your shirt, Captain? Well, it's issue number 1, volume 1, September 1994. It's not really it's just when Transformers started. And Joshua Clark, $5. The butt hurt was strong with Geordi this episode.
I think it does escalate, but this one is, this one definitely. Although, just jump back for a second with Beverly, what a great explanation as to how he's super smart. It isn't just he's using 100% of his brain, which we know is a myth. Like, they explain it so wonderfully. And it's like, oh, I've never heard that before.
Basically, all the parts of the brain are communicating with very little restrictions, and it's all becoming just one. Yeah.
Yep. Which is why he can also be, we've had other episodes where they become smart and it's very clinical, but he can be creative. That's why he can create interesting things as well.
We have a PayPal. Let me check the PayPal.
Cool.
Waiting that sure that's load.
Why did they remove his genius at the end? It wasn't hurting him. Well, it was because he could no longer live inside his own brain, so it was hurting him.
Yes.
And it would have gone further.
And they explain it at the end. It was meant to affect the array, but the technology wasn't compatible, so they had to go through Barclay, and that's why he had to hook himself to the computer because, let's see.
And there is a Stargate Atlantis episode, which is basically just this exact plot, but without the same ending, which is one of my favourite of all time, because that's where he's always concerned as well. Yeah. And in that episode, what I love about that one is that Rodney actually helps the team. I wish, especially in this scene, Picard says, let him do his thing. Have him do cool stuff to improve the ship. That's permanent. Barclay, can you give us Photon Mark 27? Like, use his knowledge for the day you've got him. Don't just have him blindly do a really mundane, who cares task. I know it's special, but do you really care about the Argus array when he can improve the shields 300%? That's useful. You fought the Borg, guys. Come on.
It's not useful, though, because they divert it from warp, so you have to be at impulse to have the 300% shields. Yeah, it's helpful, but it's not at the same time.
That's a good...
Could it be better?
But for situations like when they go, when they fight the Borg next time with the shitty redemption, whatever it was called, next to the sun, that'd be useful.
SWTX Chasers PayPal's $5, so thank you. Yes, the episode where Barclay goes through space puberty. Well, I don't know if that's a good
no, not at all. It's funny. It's funny.
Yeah, I guess.
He didn't think you were funny, just so you know.
No, I didn't. And the next scene starts in this ready room, and it's the whole... Well, Barclay knows now more about the internal workings of the Enterprise than anybody, which, again, would probably piss Geordi right off hearing that. But they have the whole conversation about we can't lock him up for being too smart. He hasn't done anything wrong. He's been influenced by an alien, but nothing has been proven harmful or whatever. And I love Beverly's thing. It could be as simple as he's got an allergic reaction to it, like to a bee sting. It can go away after a time, right? And Picard's like, yeah, so has he done anything that could be considered threatening? Well, he did make a pass at me last night. And Riker's reaction, a rather good one, too. Yeah, the look on his face is awesome.
Now, I think, though, there's one thing that dates it. No one says, make a pass at me, you. That's not a phrase that anyone uses. Hasn't used for a long time. So that dates it. You have to,
They weren't even saying that in the 90s, though, so...
Yeah, that is not a phrase you use. You have to understand it via context. But it's not like he asked her out, really, so I don't know how you'd phrase that. But you don't say, make a pass at... That's not a phrase anymore. But I love this scene because everyone's still positive. You know?
We find out he taught violin last night. Didn't know he knew the violin. He didn't until last night.
Yeah, although that's a different thing though. Learning violin is different. You still got to learn the skill set. He's not. I didn't think that would be his base skill set. Having a skill, he's an engineer, so everything he does is engineer based. But the fact he could pick up a violin isn't necessarily the same skill set. I don't know.
No, it's just that he's so creative and so he's got so it's like those kids that are so bored in school that they have to advance them grades because the work that they're doing is beneath them. So he's just picking up something to keep his mind occupied. I think that's why they mentioned the violin thing.
Yeah, I get that. I just wish it was something different. Like he built a new shuttle, or he, something more engineer themed. I think would be more apt. Just feels a bit random because it is. It is. I mean, that's the whole point. It is meant to be random. But I just love that Picard. Yeah, simply put, I mean, this is absurd, and you can't prove it's hurting him. So, but this is where again Picard could be any captain in this scene.
Yeah.
Completely devoid of any sort of specific emotion of the characters, which is fine. Whereas Troy and Beverly are great, so that's the problem. You got so many cast members, only so much time. I like that we got other people this week. So, yeah.
Fleet Boss Drift back $2, 101 likes. Nice. Can we do 125? Anyway, yeah. So Geordi gets let's do 125, guys. Hit the like button. Gets one.
But Rob has a comment that you should read. Rob Linscott.
If I can find it.
Pretty new.
Oh, there we go. Hey there, everyone. Just found your channel a couple of months ago. Definitely love the discussions. Too funny. I just rewatched this series last month on Netflix. Keep up the great channel. Well, thank you very much, Rob. Good to see you, and hopefully you are enjoying the reviews. We do talk about everything, so thank you for joining us.
Probably one more detailed review styles, but let us know how you found us because we've done so much weird, random, cool content in the last few months. So let us know.
I like this one little moment here. So Geordi gets called away because reactor number 9 is reactor number 9 going down Chicago. Anyway, it's not working. It's going to cause a chain reaction, so he buggers off. And then so you said that he made a pass at you, but you failed to mention whether it was successful or not. That little moment between the three of these guys was really funny. The look on both the girls' faces, Riker's reaction, and then it's just great.
What's sad about it is that it is somewhat forced in that you would never normally give time for this, but it's also so important to the characters. It's annoying that they don't do that enough in TNG that it feels out of place, that it feels like a deleted scene. But it's like, but this is gold. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean when I said that there's not a lot of meat on the bones of this story, because there's really not.
The story, yeah, but there's also character meat.
Oh, absolutely.
None for Troy, but
wow.
Well, there's 2 characters meet. No, it's good. Although but Bob, this is one of those things though. Just whereas Star Trek Picard hurt the Picard character, hurt the 7-9 character a lot, it made these 2 better. So now when you watch these scenes, you're like, oh, jealous guy. He'll get married to her eventually. Like it makes these scenes nicer, which is nice.
Yes.
Which really helps.
Well,
whereas Nemesis didn't. They didn't do enough.
I saw the episode yesterday or the day before where the guy takes advantage of her brain and she's dressing all sexy and she eventually gets the gray hair, right? So yeah, to see her dressed all sexy, him get jealous and her to like latch onto his arm and go into the turbolift, and I'm like, you guys get married later. It's just kind of funny. Then she like claws his face off in her quarters, but anyway.
Yes. Whereas unfortunately, it's going to get to the point when we do Voyager, like, oh, 7, you ruined that character development to kill somebody. Oh,
Icheb.
Icheb, what's the point of watching us? Because you murder him. You murder your babe.
Hashtag cut justice for Icheb.
But speaking of, we have got Manu Enterami on the channel coming soon.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Wow, what a plug. Icheb, he's alive. But Rob says, I was watching another channel, Steve Shives, I think, and that YouTube autoplay videos at random, and your channel was in rotation and kept playing one after another, so I kept watching yours. So what I hear is that someone forced him. He was watching Steve Shives and someone taped his, so he couldn't turn off autoplay and he had to keep watching. That's impressive. So what video was it? Do you remember the first one then, Mr. Rob?
I watch Steve Shives sometimes. Anyway, yes. So basically, the interface between the computer and the array isn't quite. The computer can't keep up to the repairs
because the thing is not just that though. It's going like it is basically chain reacting now. It's got to a point, and we get those twice in this episode where it can only be solved by superpower Barclay. Like this thing is nope, and so I kind of like that. But yeah, it's like it is
Yep.
going haywire now. Doesn't matter. And then it also shows that Geordi's job would never have worked either, because it was gonna blow up either way. It was gonna, you know what I mean? Just kind of fun. It's like, yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry, yeah.
Barclay's like, yeah, I have to find a better interface, and he takes off.
Although he does try and work with the team for at least a minute. He doesn't instantly go, so he isn't. I appreciate that balance.
Yep. Anyway, yes. So 10 minutes and 43 seconds till the reactor explodes, which could cause a chain reaction on the length of the array. So they don't want to be there. So the order is given to stand by to jump to warp 2. And Picard's like, okay, it's going to be 10 minutes and 43 seconds. LaForge, you got 10 minutes. That's a fine margin. Guess they're the best in Starfleet. I'd want at least a minute. Why 43 seconds margin? And that, actually, the 10 minute and 43 second thing was said probably 15 seconds ago. So I don't know. I wouldn't want to wait till like 30 seconds before I warp out of there. But that's just me. I want a little bit more cushion.
Yeah. The Barclay has to invent technology now. So I'm glad he's given more than a minute. But what I liked about this next little thing, I love the look up at the ceiling. You never get that. I thought it was a great little
And the
choice.
run through the corridor was awesome.
And then he runs past an extra who doesn't react at all. He's like, ugh. I don't care why a senior officer is running past me right there. It's just such an awkward, like...
It's right to the holodeck, though. So it's like, oh, yeah, that guy had a rough shift. No,
That's what I mean. It's like...
You wouldn't think twice.
You wouldn't think twice.
No, you're not. Your mission is you're fixing the Argus array. You don't know there's a problem. Whatever. The guy's running to the holodeck. He's not running to engineering. It's like he's just in a hurry to get on his holodeck date or set up the program or something. I don't know.
This? You just, really? I
don't have a problem with it at all. It's a big ship. Lots of people doing their thing. It's a standard, like I said, it's a milk run as far as fixing the array goes. Nobody knows there's an issue.
I just find
it's not.
Oh. But that's why him running is even more weird. They never run. They always walk.
Actually, take back everything I just said. Everything I said is invalid. You know why? Because they're at fucking red alert. Because, yeah, they ordered a red alert when they found out the array was going to explode in 10 minutes. So the red alert alarms are flashing on the side. So, yes, somebody running. But then again, it's not my problem thing. It's not my job. I've got other.
He's also a command ensign. He doesn't care. But what I like about it is that the actor knew who's coming around the corner. Like, he was intentionally placed there to make it feel more busy. And so he's been told not to react, even though you'd think he'd be like that's all you need. But the way acts it... Huh?
He did look.
Did
he?
He
Did look a little bit.
Oh, I thought he just...
The frame that I have, because of the captioning, Barclay's like just inside the door. Right. And the guy's like this.
Oh, okay. That helps me. Because I was just like...
Yeah. So there is a bit of a reaction, but I see what he almost knocked him over, actually.
Yeah. But it's like his lack
computer beginning program. And workstation share, console, alphanumeric, blah, blah, blah. And then tie both consoles into the Enterprise's main computer core utilizing neural scan interface. There is no such device on file. No problem. Here's how you build it. That's one of those lines that I always remember. It's a great scene.
It works extremely well when it goes side by side with last week and last episode, where Geordi was able to talk the computer through doing something he didn't think he could do. So same situation. Like, this thing is very, very impressive if you can get it there, which is really helpful because you would think, and often they say, computer, design this thing, but the fact that it has still a logic process that it can't necessarily A, B to C shows it's still just a computer. So I really like this for what that means. And this is one of we get this quite often later on, this kind of like building stuff with the holodeck. And this one, like the first time we really see it. I love it's just a repainted Klingon chair. It's just the Klingon bridge chair they just repainted. I love it. Such a weird choice, but it's like a big chair. It's fine. No, it's great. I love it. Oh, and then Stuart, they try to leave. They're about to die, blub, and nope. They don't have helmet. No one reacts very strongly.
Well,
yeah,
here they're at 28 seconds to critical.
Yeah,
then they get us out of here. And it's like, oh, that's shitty. I lost computer control. Area 51, though, throws in $2. Move, Jennifer. Yeah, that's your name now.
Yes.
Fucking lower decks.
Good.
Love it.
Call
Love
it. But guys, I want to see 115 likes. That's 9 more, and $30 more. Put in some of your thoughts, guys. We're about 2/3 of the way through. $30 more bucks, at least 50 for the end will be a good goal. Hopefully. Let us know what you think.
And start thinking about that last super chat slot, guys. If you're a sniper, you got the bullet ready as far as a super chat dollar. Have it loaded, get ready.
Yep.
We should probably give something away for our super chats, but I don't know. A big thank you. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. 12 seconds to critical. Go to manual. I'm attempting that, sir. Obviously, because the fuck we're gonna die otherwise.
I do things without your orders, sir. Otherwise, we die often, sir.
Yeah, that's the great thing. Like in Bridge Crew, I don't have to give orders anymore. Everybody knows what they have to do for every fucking mission. So no matter what position you're in, you're just like, all right. Oh, you want me to go where? I've already set a course, and we're already on our way there. Thank you. Yeah, so it's just funny. Anyway, the power comes back on, or the computer gets reactivated. But then all the Argus arrays shut down, so it's been fixed. No longer in danger.
And it's such an abrupt. It's like, oh.
Yep.
Right.
Geordi, what did you do? Wasn't me, sir. Yeah.
Barclay. Oh, and then what a great idea to have the computer be Barclay. And I like the slight turn because they play it off as it's actually Barclay. Actually, the computer just like. So I almost like the idea of it being that he overrode the computer's default voice. That it's still a computer, but they play the game of, is that Barclay or is this the computer with Barclay's voice? And you're left confused up until he even starts talking. It's like, yeah, but the computer could just change the way it speaks. So I like that. It was a nice little, yeah.
Because he says, yeah, Riker's like, okay, this is what happens. Picard says, computer, how are the Argus reactors shut down? A neural interface was created to expedite the repairs. And Riker's like, Barclay? And Picard says, computer, respond. I am responding, sir. I'm sorry if I caused you any alarm. It was great. And then we see this is another thing that burned into my head is this chair thing with the lights bouncing all around. Great interface. And those circuit boards you see behind them, you see quite a few times in Trek. They're a great prop. They look great, and they look great under blacklight. But
it's just funny because they're just isolated chips, big, simple. Looks great, though. Simple, yeah. And certainly this visual is always going to be an iconic one. Such a stroke of genius. I'm assuming it was all practical, although you would think lasers that strong, like light beams.
They're hitting the back of his head, though. I paid attention to that. Like, as long as he doesn't turn around and look at them, they're not gonna.
But you know what I mean? Like that, to see it that powerful is gonna be like, takes a bit of effort, and I'm sure there's a little bit of concern because they're really bright, and they list. It's great, very effective.
So yeah, his higher brain functions and stuff have been transferred to the computer, so he can't remove himself from the computer. Yeah. So yeah, his knowledge, his brain has expanded so much that he can't remove himself from the computer or he'll die. So,
Car Shep says, so you could technically set off a holographic phone torpedo, but the safety's often blow off a chunk of the ship. No, because you can't replicate antimatter, so you wouldn't actually be able to create a real reaction. Because it's not replicatable. Any part that's not replicatable couldn't be in the holodeck. So it could explode, as we often see, and then just the holodeck explodes, as in the image, like in lower decks. So you couldn't do, even with safety's off, you couldn't create it's like a phaser. You couldn't create a real phaser because some of the pieces are not replicatable for certain phasers. I mean, I'm sure they make.
I'm sure you can do a command authorization override and beam some of the actual antimatter out of one of the magnetic containment bottles into this holodeck. I don't know why anyone would want to do that, but
that's
unless there's always a possibility. But
so I guess you could probably build a real photon torpedo in the holodeck, but then it's like partially real components. That is a good thing. And the only thing I don't like is from this part onwards that we don't get Dwight acting really. We get voiceover Barclay, and while he is good, it starts to go down my like appreciation, because you're not able to really appreciate the actor. Now that said, though, you get a lot of everyone else doing stuff, which is then great. But it's like, this is the golden bit of the episode done. Now you're in the okay, yeah. He spent his 3 days of the week doing everything else, and now he's doing 1 day, do the rest of the episode, if that. So I just wish I saw more of his acting, but that's just me.
But we're in the briefing room now, and Geordi's messing with the wall panel.
Daisy.
That he can't get the fucking thing back on properly.
Oh, yeah.
And it almost looks right, and then it kind of slips a little bit. Anyway, not a big deal. But yeah, it's disconnected, so the audio and visual pickups are so they can talk, basically, without being heard, which is fine until in a scene or two, it's like Picard does this, cut all audio, and Worf's like, yep, you can talk freely now. So the thing that Geordi just did in the briefing room is also just done on the bridge. You think the bridge would have a lot more sensors for monitoring what the crew's doing. I don't think it was that easy to just cut them off from hearing what they're doing, especially as he is the main computer. But anyway, not a big deal, I guess. Just something that kind of sticks in my craw. Anyway, yes, so this is a great conversation of I don't want to kill him, but I can't. It's intolerable to I can't have him as the computer. So what do we got to do? Or we can take him to a star base. Take him to Memory Alpha. That's what you should do. Have him take over the Memory Alpha computer. I'm sure, there's lots of storage there. But yeah.
It's but it is a. I kept getting the impression though that I would think Barclay could find a way to detect them anyway and hear them anyway.
Yep. Oh, I know. Especially later on the bridge. Like this, it's not a briefing room; it's a fucking bridge.
Well,
they monitor that shit.
And the simple fact is, they've all got a communicator on. Did they deactivate all the communicators? I don't think so. So I genuinely believe Barclay hears them at every step. But because he's not menacing, it doesn't matter. But I genuinely think he's actually able to completely hear them, because I don't buy that they can lock out. Yeah. Like I said, and that would have been actually a really nice note if they'd actually left all of the communicators on the bridge and they walked in. That would have been a nice touch.
Yeah.
That'd have been cool.
But they basically decided to set up an ODN because he hasn't messed with the propulsion controls yet. So they put an ODN bypass so that they can control at least that from the bridge. And so that's the idea before they can get to the starbase.
But I'm so underwhelmed by this scene because that's their only plan, really.
I know.
that's the entire meeting, and that's a shitty plan. Because guess what? He'll probably override that. He's the damn computer. Are you kidding? Yeah, it's such an uninspired scene, I'll be honest. And
ISFJ 1009, the little comm panel, did initiate my OCD. Yeah, me too.
It's probably like take 3, and it's like, that's good enough. That's good enough!
Yeah, there's a few scenes in Trek as a whole that it's like that. The prop didn't quite work properly.
Yeah.
And it's like, But yeah, it's fine.
But another Jeffrey's Tube scene, which we're starting to see more and more, which is great. It's a great, simple, really simple set.
And he changed into like a work uniform.
Although what's nice is that he's actually off duty, because they say, oh, I thought he'd been in your quarters, so he's obviously off duty. Yes. And therefore, I guess, to try and hide the fact that he's working, he's in his off duty something as well. So very subtle, but the fact that Reg can see him, sorry, I don't think he's gonna get away with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole time you're thinking he's gonna say something.
Well, yeah, because it's like, what are you doing? I'm running a level 3 diagnostic that we talked about. Well, I'm the computer. I'll run it for you. That's what he should have said. Fleet Pass Swift back $2. Comms dampening field over the briefing room. I mean, sure. It wasn't said, but sure.
But then would you not use a ship's computer for that?
And wouldn't the computer be like, why is there a dampening field over the briefing room? I'm going to angle one of the little sensor things on the other part of the hull at the window of the briefing room and listen to the vibrations and know what the fuck you're saying. Where did they use that? That was in a thing once.
Or just do what they do with the Orville, and a shuttle comes in.
Yes. Read lips.
Yeah. It'd work.
Well, this is where Barclay's like, I perceive the universe as a single equation, and it's so simple. I understand everything. Because he says, I can't describe what I'm going through, and
Mhm.
Geordi's like, well, try. Geordi can talk a computer to death just like Kurt could. So,
But again, I appreciate it's not menacing.
no,
Fine, careful balance. I really appreciate that.
yeah,
Uh, but I also like that he's talking to him to try and keep his mind off things to try and But also, why not ask him? No one's busy right now, in terms of they shouldn't be busy. So why isn't he asking for all the cool secrets of the universe? I would be asking about loads of things right now. Would you not? So
yes,
Barclay, what's this,
absolutely.
and this?
I'd say, you know what? In case this doesn't stick with you, I would make a file in the computer right now of everything you're thinking, or of everything, all
Oh,
the ideas you have, whatever, so you can visit it
yes.
later, even if you don't remember everything. Which at the end of the episode, I'm thinking, I wish you would have done that, considering how he had such all this knowledge, But oh well.
It's pretty smart.
Um, yes. So basically, he's talking about warp is not the only way to move a ship. There's no limits.
Mm.
Essentially, we can explore strange new worlds that outside of our that would normally be outside of our lifetime. Like, you should share this information with the 32nd century.
I know, I thought that. I was like, oh, I know, smartest guy ever. Fine, sure. But it was that easy. It was that easy. And it's
And this
30,000 light
information's
years.
in. That's the other thing. This information
Oh,
is in their fucking database. It'll take decades, to not 900 years, not centuries. So decades later, the scholars would have gone through it all, learned about how because basically the aliens are the one that are giving them the information to be able to do this. They're using their own technology, sure, enhanced by however he's using
it's
it,
true.
but to create this wormhole to get to the center of the galaxy, that's a form of FTL, well, propulsion. So yeah, this should all be there in the
And
database.
not just that, but they fit. It's not just in the database from getting it from the dudes. They did it once. They have all their scans. Surely they had
Yeah.
control save. Because
And it's not like the aliens were trying to hide it. They
yeah,
come,
there wasn't a control delete will caveat. Yeah, you don't get to keep the tech. It's like, you did this. Like, even if you don't understand how it works, you can form it again. Why wouldn't you be able to? So yeah, it's a bit weird, but that's okay.
ISFJ 1009, $5. Remember, we spoke about this briefly during the Arizona Trekyards episode. How much of what Barclay did was
Mm,
noted down our save? Yeah,
mm.
exactly.
Yeah,
Because at the end of this episode, they have the line of, we have vast amounts of their knowledge in our
yeah,
database. It'll take our scholars decades to go through it all.
yeah,
Perfect. That's somebody's job now. Because a scientific
yeah.
research team, that's their job, to go through this data.
And they're
So
still going, and they would still be going through the sphere data if they had that in their timeline too. So all that important data. We're also out of focus slightly. Um,
I look better this way. It's that.
yeah.
Come on.
But then we get Deanna's going to go down and see if she can talk to him. See if there's anything to do. I again love the shots of him, but I just wish it was him actually being an act against her. It loses a little bit for me that way. I know it's meant to be less personal, but
Before she goes down there, though, there's one thing that's kind of menacing. Picard's like, "Yeah, can you please stop what you're doing right now? We got other shit to do." He's like, "I'd rather not, sir." So it's that superior ambition breeds superior, or superior whatever breeds superior ambition, and that happens just quite a few times in Trek. So that's kind of getting to the point where it's a little bit like, ew. Now it's getting a little bit sinister, because
it's on the line.
which she brings up in a second. How can we trust an officer that doesn't obey orders? So
Which, how often do they not obey orders to save the crew? Unfortunately, they have it both ways. Follow orders like a good officer. Don't follow orders that don't make sense because you're a good officer.
yeah, and how many times has just following orders been used as an excuse? And how do you get promoted? What is the advice they give you? Stand out, do things, take initiative.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm very confused right now. Do I follow the rules or do I not follow? I guess there's a fine line there.
Or do I just
Like,
Boimler effect and do the least possible, the shoddiest way of getting the job done? Yeah.
be the best possible ensign you can be. Be like Mariner. You can get promoted and have more work to do, but just
Don't.
be the best, lowest rank you can be.
But no, the Barclay thing is interesting because, again, at this point, he's programmed to take him there. You know, this is right at the edge of that programming. Like he's minutes away at this point. So I think it's all autopilot. But again, it is not anything sounding menacing. But there's it's all about the performance. He gave us that slight positive tick on the tone. So you know, it's not negative. But as Picard said even later scene, like I don't want to hurt Barclay. I know it'll kill him if we get him out. But at a certain point. Out of the context is he'll have to die. I'm sorry, I can't sacrifice everyone for him. So I love that.
And this is the scene too where Picard does this, like kill the audio, and it's like, oh yeah, you're free to talk now. It's like, really? This is the bridge. He didn't deactivate all the shit on the bridge.
Why would Barclay let you turn off? Like, if there's a button, he knows there's a button. He would deactivate the button. Like it's all the computer guys. Like you're in a ship where everything is controlled by the computer.
Yeah.
Like it would have been great if he's like that. It says line and Buck's like, I can still hear you, Captain.
I know what that means, Captain.
Oh no, yeah, do the Galaxy Quest. Yeah, I mean I know where the button is.
Oh man. Yeah, but then the little talk with Reg here with Troy, where she's I like the thing of how can he trust you when you don't follow orders. And he's like, sorry, you can't go for that walk, and she's like, so am I, blah blah blah. Yeah, good scene actually. I'm not a big fan, as you know, of Troy or the Marina Sirtis, but she does a really good job in this episode. And yeah, where was she last week when Geordi turned into a thing? But oh well.
It's like I said, internally to myself when I'm watching it. When you give Marina great stuff, she does great stuff. The entire cast is exceptional. Only when they're given the good stuff. Like Picard is nothing here. Like he's as good as Pike in essence, like the original Pike. Like it's fine.
He's kind of just on autopilot, stumbling through. Yeah. Like he's not a good captain in this episode at all.
He's not adding anything. Yeah. I think Patrick may just have, because really he has a lot less lines than he normally has, and they're all procedural.
He was probably filming Drumhead at the same time or something. Like it was very heavy dialogue and very. Yeah. This is his break. He's like, yeah. I'm still on set. I'll do these quick scenes.
Yeah, actually, what might have happened is they might have said to him, Patrick, you're not in this one as much, so learn the next few episodes. He's like, okay, great. So what do I need to be? I need to be in for these few hours. Okay, great, fine. So he's not committing because he knows he's not important. Because he's not giving anything extra. Which is interesting because Michael Dorn, he's almost never given good stuff on average, but he always sells the lines. He gives that Worfinisms with, yes, sir. Lots of yes, captains, but he always gives it something. He's weirdly always committed, you know?
But you see a lot of episodes like that where one character is just sidelined because they've had like 2 good episodes, and so they're taking a bit of a break. They're not off per se, but they're not being relied on. So,
but good scene overall with Reg, and he's all like, "Don't worry, we'll go explore. It'll be great. Don't worry. Don't know what you want." Yeah.
But then he cuts off Geordi. Geordi's just about to do the ODN bypass. And it's like, Commander, what? You're too late. Love it, because he knew exactly what was going on. He knows what that Jeffrey tube is. He knows what console's open. He knows where Geordi is. He's not dumb. So.
And, in essence, the best way of getting him to achieve his mission to get to the other planet was to let them think their plan's going to work. Because if he had foiled their plan, they might have thought something more radical, maybe like deactivate the warp core. You need the power. So he manipulated them in the simplest way possible, letting them think they're doing a good job. And but it's not as anticlimactic as it should feel. Like doing a plan, it just failed because it's not important. It kind of works because it's like, and we're going to jump into the next. Oh no, we're doing a thing. No, it works well.
ISFJ 1009, $10. Thank you so much. Great super chat. Here, I knew many of my Star Trek ship designs are going to have what I have coined graviton jump drive, FTL tech. Just design warp nacelles to handle graviton emissions, and to hell with Section 31. LOL.
I like that.
Yeah. Again, why wasn't this shit done in 900 years between now and 37? Anyway, whatever.
Because they didn't bother going with Adrian's designs. They didn't bother, continuing with them. That's not on him. He tried. He designed so many ships, and they just didn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get yet another line of cut off the audio, and it's go separate Mr. Barclay from the computer. Aye, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof. He just
This is where he's gonna
ordered
have
that man's death. Ugh.
He did, absolutely, yes. And I love how Barclay's like, I know you're doing what you got to do. I'm not going to hold this against you personally. It's fine.
Nothing personal, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also love the shittiness of these officers. I'll be honest. Like, they're the weakest, crappiest, non-committing security officers. Like, I know the way they get thrown in a minute is pretty great, but I wish, like, Worf is never given good security, ever. It's weird. I know it's not important to the scene, but it's such an underwhelming like attempt to get him out. I don't know. It doesn't need to be anything more, but it's just like, yeah, great. Half-arse it, Worf. The ship's about to whatever. And then we get...
Paul Graham throws in $5.04. Thank you, Paul. Every great engineer I know is vastly creative in some non-technical way. Music, writing, art, theater, something.
Wow.
Join Open Luna. Yes, go check out Open Luna on... Just type in Google.
What's that?
Open Luna. It's his company. He's doing space stuff.
Well, we like space
stuff. He can explain it better.
Yeah.
Go look up Open Luna. It'll explain exactly what they're doing. They're doing some cool stuff. So.
Thank you. Cool.
Then we get like a weird distortion effect going on, and I love how Riker says LaForge initiates stabilization procedure. Stabilizers. Oh, I'm frozen. There, I'm back. Reset the stabilizers to match the flow matrix. Very important.
Yeah, I didn't get the point of that line, to be honest. Didn't mean anything.
Well, because Data explains it in a second. They're experiencing a quantum level oscillation delay, doubling in intensity every 12.3 seconds. Bicellular disruption is imminent, which means they're moving, I think, so fast or whatever that their cells are going to explode, essentially.
Right.
If they can't compensate. Because you see the ship like, and then zoom.
See, I didn't get that at all, but I appreciate you saying that.
The technobabble makes up for it. It does kind of explain it. But, yeah.
Because my take of it was that they were going to be... And I didn't remember the effect, where it was going. So I thought they're being pulled into a vortex, and the whole thing was going to, like, Constantine it in, and then out. So I thought that was the FDL working. But what you're saying is that, no, that was there to fix the distortion, and then the FDL finished.
Yes.
Right.
If they would have kept moving like that, they would have all basically exploded from the inside out. Cellular disruption. The whole stabilization thing was kind of okay. So you have stabilization things at warp, maybe, I guess, but it's never talked of. So anyway, it's fine. Then we get this nice wallpaper for your desktop, guys. There you go. The Enterprise with the planet and the little cloud thingy.
Yeah, you can always tell when they try and make a statement, and this one they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna do a thing because we want to sell." Ooh. Although that's not trying to be the center of the galaxy, is it? Surely.
No.
Because I didn't think that until I thought, well, because you could imagine you could see that a while away.
And even the line, we're almost 30,000 light years from where we were. And he stands up. Picard, the center of the galaxy. How do you know that?
Yeah, there's no reason to think that.
No.
We have no evidence. 30,000 goes any... Stuart, they could do this. 30,000 up.
They should have had a data line saying we're actually very near the center of the galaxy, or something. Instead of Picard standing up to say it, like.
And then Picard says, "Look, we don't want to meet God. It didn't go good the last time. Let's head the other direction. You might be pissed again." Yeah, isn't that amazing? Kirk took a day. They took 30,000 light years. Okay, we found it in a minute, but how did Kirk go 30,000 light years? Wow.
That's another Star Trek V problem. That's okay. But now the computer gets returned to normal functioning, so they have helm control.
Well, once again, their lack of concern here is odd.
Yes. Although when the thing appears, Worf's like, "Captain," and he goes to he pulls his phaser, and Picard's like, "Yeah, it's fine."
The classic Worf maneuver. Yeah.
But Picard is so like, "It's fine." He's So just disillusioned at this point. And then he
Yeah.
realizes what's happening. It's like a first contact. He's like,
Yep.
"We're Captain Picard. I'm Captain Picard of the Federation Starship Enterprise." Like he kind of perks up, but he seems very tired and just like, eh.
Yeah. Yeah, he really is. But that's okay.
Yeah. So anyway, Barclay comes in and it's like I thought just detaching you from the computer would be fatal if you left the holodeck. And he's like, yeah, well, the Cetherians have reintegrated me, sir. And the guy's like, Cetherians? A funny old guy. I like the guy.
And I love Barclay's acting. He's so... Like, you can tell he's like... As if he's coming off adrenaline of smart, so he can sort of half use his body, but he's still like exuberant from the cool factor. So it's so pure, but also still so Barclay. It's a really interesting performance, and yeah, what a memorable performance for the guy, the face. Like just everything about it, oddly memorable. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. So we get the explanation that they usually bring people to them. But the technologies aren't always compatible. So they failed with the Argus computer, they failed with the shuttle, but they were able to reprogram me. So yeah, they bring people to, they like exploring. They have the same mission as this group of the Enterprise, but instead of going places, they bring people to them, which again is not unheard of in Star Trek. That's actually a few times that happens. But this was great. Like I remember watching this first time going, that's cool. Like, you know, this is new. This is exploration. This is Star Trek. So
it is so rewarding to have it not be a big bad, even though it's a big creature and very reminiscent of TOS. You know, galactic creature, energy being. Because clearly he's an energy being that's projecting a face. You know, or I guess it could be a hologram, and it's just an alien. I don't know, which doesn't matter either way. Both. There you go. But yeah, it's just such a. It is a quick resolution. Because it goes from being Barclay from 100 to 0 quickly, but it is lovely, like the positivity, and even the way Riker like grins at them, like, okay then, and because like, like the way I took his little look from Picard was kind of like, I guess I'm dealing with this then, okay. I thought it would be quite like you said. I thought we were in a milk run, and now I got to deal with 30,000 light years away super space being that's kidnapped us, but not really. Milk run, diplomacy. Let's go.
Yeah, but he's going to be busy for 10 days.
Yeah, he is going to be
busy. It's not like just sitting around letting the scientists do their thing.
But look,
he's going to want to be in there now.
But look, Picard, like Riker's so happy because like, yeah, we're going to deal with this. It's such a weird. I like it though. It works, but it's and then it's fine. Yeah. Then they're done. As in they're done. We're not done yet. 10 days.
10 days there, and the Enterprise has been safely returned to Federation space. We bring back knowledge of their race that will take our scholars decades to examine.
And never mentioned again.
And Barclay's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine.
And he remembers doing everything, but he just doesn't know why or how. And
he kind of laughs at that as well, which I like.
Yeah.
It's not scarring so much as I'm so confused.
Yeah. And then the whole, do you want to, go help me with the diagnostics? And she's like, no, we have a date.
Yes.
And then the whole chess thing. Checkmate in 9 moves. Didn't know you played chess? I don't. He just moved a piece randomly, probably, would be my guess. Or he's retained some knowledge, maybe.
Yeah, his acting is different here, which I like. The stuff, it's a different performance. And in fact, you don't think of Barclay in like First Contact being like Barclay was in his first episode. So it has changed him because he knows he can be this way. It's a nice, special circumstances. But yeah, what an unusual scene. Because Troy obviously isn't smitten with him, but I think she's proud of him in her own way. Like, you did help everybody. You helped the Argus. You got us. Maybe you're supposed to make Riker jealous. It is somewhat random to say we have a date and make it a date. Like, it's not just like a chill, let's hang out.
He's just, Barclay, you've had a rough couple of days. And they even asked him here, how do you feel? He says a lot smaller.
Which is lovely.
I think it's one of her counseling techniques to kind of get him build up his ego again, even though...
But it just feels like cock tease though as well.
a little bit, but it's also a counselor thing. Like he had all this confidence, and now it wasn't him, so he's going to be defeated and feel like. So what better way than have a beautiful woman go for a walk with you?
But when he goes for a kiss at the end of the lovely day, it's like, whoa, I was just counselling again.
Hey, whoa, hey.
And I will say the chess thing. My gut says to me that as soon as he walked out of the room, they looked and said,
that piece can't even move there. What?
Yeah, I actually think it's a total bullshit. Like it's a joke. Like, oh, I see the code. Yeah, you see it wrong, mate. I really hope it didn't do it.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought too. Was a joke. Like it's just a. So I want to do that someday. Just see some people out playing chess, like move a piece. Yeah, checkmate in 4 moves.
It's like walk away. It isn't though. Yeah, that's my gut. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so that's the Nth Degree, guys.
Yeah. How many likes do you want to see before we hit the end?
Well, we have 130 right now. I think we can hit 150. So 20 more likes. I think we can probably do 25 more bucks at least.
Yeah. 26 rounds up. So give us your scores, as we always say. Either the non-super chat scores, Stuart the super chat scores. I would love to know you guys' thoughts on this. It's obviously a higher echelon episode, but let's hear some scores. And 25 bucks isn't going to be a lot, so let's see if we can get
there. Yeah. This one for me is, like I said, it's one that I definitely think of when I think of TNG. It will be on my list of memorable episodes if I had to go through and just name a few. This I think would be on there. I usually forget the title, but it would be the one where Barclay got smart.
Yeah.
But having said that, now watching it with the kind of more critical reviewer eye, there's not a lot of meat to the main story. It's pretty simplistic when you think about it. And it doesn't, the pacing's fine. It doesn't waste a lot of time. It doesn't dwell on things. It's just kind of, I don't know how to describe it.
I think it suffers from the original viewing. It works better because there is twists and turns if you're watching it for the first time. Once you know it, it has a certain simplicity to it because you're meant to watch it like a, where's it going to go? Oh, he's smart. You know what I mean? Which is hard. It's hard to do that twice, etc.
Yeah, you really appreciate the small little moments like with Riker and Troy and Beverly there with the ready room scene. But you also notice that Picard is very cardboard cutout captain. Like he's not Picard in this episode. There's nothing Picard like about him at all, except for that last where he's like, Captain Picard, very proud of his ship, and the fact that it's a first contact. That one line, but the rest is very kind of blasé. Data's not in it as much as he could be, especially considering the technical problems that they're facing and dealing with. You think that he would be working with Barclay, and Barclay would be shattering his ideas. Like Data would come up with an idea, Barclay would be like, "See, there's an error there, though," and Data's like, "Oh, how did you catch that? Like that would be better to me." So I think Data should have been in this one a little bit more.
But obviously, he gets in every episode. That's kind of the problem. It's like, do you want to give Brent more?
Yeah. So it was good seeing Troy, though, do her thing and do it well. She was really good in this episode. And like I said, I'm not a fan of hers at all. So, yeah. Overall, very memorable. I just think that Geordi kind of comes off as a bit of a dick the more I watch it. I get that it's kind of appropriate in most of the instances, but I think it's a little bit beneath him to act the way he acts, unfortunately, because he is chief engineer. Like, he just comes off as a little childish, in my opinion.
He also did, though, the first time with Barclay, so he also came off extra dickish. So
there's a few episodes where he does, yeah.
So potentially that's also just like one of his weak spots, his own engineering team. Like, I mean,
the thing is, he's never good with people. He's better at talking to machines. That's why Data is his best friend. That's why when he talks to the computer, it's like, no, computer, that's not what I meant. And he talks to machines better than he talks to people.
Okay. So why don't we compromise Stuart? I think he is more dickish than he should be, but it does also make sense more than half the time.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yes.
There we go.
But I think the way it's played, though, it does come off as a little bit childish. That's all.
So, what's your score? Remember, both for all of TNG and for this season.
For this season.
And just to remind you what we had this season, we had Brothers, Best of Both Worlds Part 2, Remember, Legacy, Reunion, Future Imperfect, Final Mission, The Lost, Data's Day, The Wounded, Devil's Due, Clues, First Contact, Galaxy's Child, Night
A lot of high
Terrors.
scores is what you're saying.
Actually, less than you think. We got some pretty lows, but yeah, we had some 9s and some 10s this year.
This because this is very Star Trek. There's no big bad guy. It's a scientific problem. It's exploration on both ends that we find out. I think that's fantastic. That's what Star Trek is. That's what it should be. And so it hits all the Star Trek points for me. It's going to get a 8 out of 10 for the season. I think for all of Trek, it'll probably get a 7 out of 10 because it is very of TNG. I mean, it is very very good Star Trek.
Yeah.
So,
and guys, keep putting those likes, keep putting those super chats. We still need another 12. That sounds doable. Put in your scores. I'll give my thoughts, then we'll double down on those. Yeah, so like I said, I remember this one, the end. I think this one is pretty damn well written, although it is probably too much focused on Barclay, which is odd, me saying that, especially as I then complained he wasn't in the second half as much. But it's kind of an imbalance of that way around. I would have preferred a slightly more gentle ramp up and a slightly different just before the end. But as a guy that likes the actor and likes the character a lot, it's great to see them being invested in fully. You kind of want those episodes. So it's kind of it could have been done a little bit better, but honestly, like, make it two-parter. You know what I mean? There are things you could do just with more time, rather than But it's great to see. This is very much a Lower Decks episode. Every character isn't normally given as much time. Gets a lot of time here. Unlike last week, where Geordi got mostly work-related lines, Geordi gets a lot of nice character stuff here. It's kind of more like, this feels more like Geordi being Geordi. That was more Geordi being work Geordi. But like you said, you see the more dickish side, for good and for bad there. Riker's good. Riker stands out. He gets little nice moments. Worf is meaningless. Data's pointless. Picard is not Picard. But it's nice to everyone else, And damn it, there should have been some joke in the middle where he was able to improve the warp drive or do something really cool. Something really cool would have been nice to kind of continue on with. So my scores, I'm basically where you are, but I think I'm gonna have to flip them. I think I'm gonna say 7 for this season, but actually 8 for all TNG. Because I think it's a well above average overall episode, but this season has too many good ones. So it's like it's obviously very good this season, but I think it's of the top tier, top 20%, because it ticks all the boxes. It might not do anything excruciatingly brilliantly, but it does tick all of the boxes pretty much, which is not always the case. And like
that's
I say,
the other thing too. There's some great
track.
shots. There's some great shots of the Enterprise in this. There's some unique ones that you don't see very often.
They commit to model work also. Yeah. This feels like they. I mean, also the holodeck sequences with the chair with the guy and the guy, the Einstein, whatever. They were like, we're getting Dwight. We're going to put money in this one, and it does feel it.
Yeah.
I guess they took the money from Patrick's budget being in the episode, which is fine. And to be fair though, Brent, he has to be in makeup. That takes time and money. So they redistributed their whatever.
I think they do film multiple episodes at a time. So I think Picard was probably more focused on something coming up. Like Drumhead is 2 episodes away, because the next one's Cupid, and then it's Drumhead. So I think he might have been focusing on Drumhead. It just seems like he's got other shit on his mind. And Drumhead, he's lots of very poignant lines. It was like one of the best episodes of Trek, as far as writing goes. So it's a great sound. So I think that might have been going on as well, but
all the above.
Anyway.
All the above.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, so let me get the super chat scores here. Ozzy Maderos, $5, 9 out of 10. When Reg loves when a plan comes together in the holodeck, Fleet Admiral skeleton hands. Okie dokie. I love it when a plan comes together. Yeah. Car Shep, $5. Spore Drive would have gotten them there safer. Just saying. Are we going to have to rewatch all of TNG and DS9 episodes for Giorgio?
No. Hard no on that.
Yep. And Fleet Boss Swiftback, $5. 8 out of 10 for both. The chair scene, the Cetherian head are the most memorable scenes here. It was a good character, or a tertiary character. Yeah, I agree with all that.
And Phil mentioning him in Voyager. Yeah, I love him in Voyager. I think every episode he's in is one of the better ones of Voyager.
Yes.
Like, and Troy. Troy's probably better in Voyager than she is in most of TNG, which is sad. But on TNG, she was a regular paid actress either way. Voyager, she was being brought in and therefore paid more. So they had to use her because she's being specially brought in. So she's really good at those episodes.
And feeling important.
Yeah.
So
she's
that
good in those.
Ramps up how you change things.
I always forget she's in that because she's so seamless. And given the fact that Voyager is set in a part of the quadrant, yet Earth feels so seamless with Pathfinder, really impressive how they did that. Like, thinking back. Anyway.
Oh, right. Any non-super chat scores there?
Yeah. But we're $3 away, guys. 3 and 4 likes, just so you know. But non-super chat scores are 8.5, 8, 9.25, 8, 10. Alex Graham, 10! 8.5, 10 out of 10, says the ambassador, which is my dad. See, I finally caught you. You should put a picture on the... You got a T for some reason. Put a picture for your YouTube thing. That'll help. Put your own picture or something. 8 out of 10, 9.5, 8 out of 10, 9, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 from Matt Boardman, who's watching. 6 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9.8, 7 out of 10, 8.5, 7.9, 8, 8, 10, 9.5. So basically, you either love it or you think the same as us. Basically. No one said 9, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone's either 9 point high or 8 where we are. But it is different for us.
No low scores. A lot of them get, like, low scores.
Yeah.
This one, yeah.
But it is different for us, though, because we've literally just, you guys have listened to us talk about it, but we've actually had to think and analyse in our brain for 2 hours, plus we were watching it.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. We're also comparing this to, like, all of Trek. That's why we try and be as fair as possible. And when you get to the 8s and when you get to the 9s and 10s, they've got to have some real special sauce. Otherwise, that's not fair to other things, Yeah. That's why when we say Enterprise, that's like got all of the special sauce. That like hits all of the, you know what I mean? This didn't. This one missed the special sauce, but had this special main. Like it was a 3-course meal, but didn't quite get the dessert right. But it got the main and the starter great. Didn't quite get the dessert proper. And that's it. So all it needed was that third, that bit of apple pie that was really good. Didn't quite get it.
Squatter course, $3. Last.
Yeah.
Let the sniping begin.
Oh, goodness.
Do it.
Do it. And yeah, Ozzy says Reg did help bring them home. And actually, that is true. Actually, looking back at this episode, Reg helped save Voyager. That's awesome.
He also got them in touch with Starfleet so that they could not feel so isolated.
Yeah. He also saved Zim in a more abstract way. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Matt Boardman, $5 sniping.
Oh,
he's like our expert sniper, yeah.
He is. I don't know if he ever successfully gets the last snipe, but he does. He's got a...
He takes out a lot of the bad guys
in
the
process. Yeah. So yeah, Stuart, what's our next review then?
Like I said, it's Cupid. When is it? What day is today? Is it Wednesday?
Yes.
Shit.
Next week, probably. We're doing one more tomorrow for an unknown topic we haven't discussed yet.
Yeah, we're doing a live tomorrow. Friday, I'm gonna say no, but
yes.
Next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, I can't actually.
Oh.
So Monday, Thursday, and Friday next week probably. So probably Monday would be Cupid.
But I'm happy to say me and Stuart are filming our first new Trekyards of 2021, because I include Discoveries kind of like the end of 2020, like we were finishing off on Thursday. So you'll see, not so see that anytime soon, but we're making an effort. That'll be the start of our new batch. So
we're gonna be filming tomorrow for some new stuff.
Tomorrow? Is that tomorrow? Yeah,
it's Thursday.
It is. Yes.
We can wait till next week. I'll be totally happy.
No,
with that.
I just meant like, boy, that came around quick. That's all.
Absolutely did. That's what because it was Wednesday. I thought
it
felt like Tuesday today.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Thanks.
Pixels at dawn, £5, and yet these aliens couldn't fix Barclay's brain in the process. I know, right?
Didn't
at
they
least
though? Because he's better in Voyager and First Contact. He hasn't got the stutter, and he's much more. I
he's
think
not better in First Contact. In First Contact, he kind of regresses a little bit.
Well, he's nervous. He's meeting Elvis. You know, you're allowed to be. He's meeting Patrick Stewart. You know, he's meeting the guy.
I guess.
No, I think they definitely did. I think that's definitely implied. Like they took him to a place and he's over that hump. Like every time they have him next, he's better. He's still him, but he's just a
better version of him.
Yeah, I think it did. I think that was their gift to him. That they improved him slightly.
I think he regresses a bit in Voyager though. A little, like he's kind of.
Well, he becomes the addict again in a different way, but he's still more confident. Doesn't have the lispy, doesn't have the same speech stuff. But I agree, more addictive stuff for sure. Yeah.
ISFJ 1009 $2 just because.
It's true.
Good reason. Thank you.
Good reason.
And Fleet Paw Swiftback $2. Pew pew. Seed whizzes by snipe.
Although Dan has a great point. Yeah, Barclay's in season 2 of Voyager. I forgot about that. Well, it's not really Barclay. But yeah, they just throw him in that episode. And he's really menacing in that one, considering. I forgot that. He's good in that. He's really good in that, considering he's a completely fake him. Yeah, nice cat. That's cool.
Well, I think that ticked all the boxes for us, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, tune in tomorrow. I don't know what our lives are going to be about. I doubt it will be a review. We'll probably just have a discussion piece of some sort. And check the community tabs in YouTube because we're doing polls and stuff there now to kind of get your thoughts and ideas because we really want to make content that you guys are going to enjoy. So check those out, and if you can vote on a poll or comment on a question that we have, something you'd like to see, by all means, help us out that way. So
yeah, but we'll see you tomorrow for something.
Yes.
And thanks guys for making these things fun, entertaining, and supporting the channel just about enough. Thanks everyone so much.
Thank you Fleet Paw for the last super chat.
I heard the whiz and you got there.
That's right. It's always good when you hear the shot from Sniper. If you hear the shot, that means you are live.
That's true.
Most of the time the bullet hits you before you'd hear the sound.
Or your legs off.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
That's a great way to end. Bye guys.
See you tomorrow. Bye everyone.